What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team since 2020, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And that is a beautiful thing. I love that. Good morning, Shirley Josma is already in the house. What? Shirley, we don't usually catch you so early. That's a beautiful thing. Love that. Love that. Love that. Yes, as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And my co-host, Mr. Ryan Knight, he ain't with us today, but I'm going to use that, but we'll address that in just a second. We are here broadcasting live Friday, February 21st. February is another long month. Fitness IQ Cam is in the house. Morning, Fitness IQ Cam. Hope you are fine and safe. This is good. And again, February 21st, winter has not stopped. We got a bunch of people jumping in already. Excellent. Hey, please tell us where you are chiming in from. Would appreciate you telling us where you're hanging in from. But yeah, this is another great morning for the Morning Vibe Show and Dr. Vibe. So what's been going on this week? What's been going on? Are you celebrating African History Month or Black History Month? Lots of things going on, but you know, people just doing their thing. We're doing all right. Lots of stuff going on in front of the scenes, behind the scenes. I don't know. Oh, I guess for people who are into hockey, there was a big hockey game last night, Canada versus the USA in the Four Nations Cup, as they call it. And Canada won in overtime, but it was really interesting. The 47, the president down south said, again, saying the 51st state, Canada, this, that, and the other thing. And when I didn't watch the game at all, but I heard reports and read reports like when the Canadian national anthem, when the American national anthem was playing, there were Canadians that were booing in the audience. The game was in Boston, which is in the United States. There were American audiences were booing when the Canadian national anthem was being sung, and Americans were booing the Canadian national anthem when it was being sung. They're going, USA, USA. Canada won in overtime, though. So, don't know. It's just one of those things. Just one of those things. Did anyone watch the hockey game last night? How are people handling what's going on politically, socially these days? It's a crazy time. It's a really, really, really crazy time. And I'm speaking that you're doing self-care during these times. And really and truly, you are governing over you. With all the stuff that's going on, you got to take care of you first. That's the most important thing, that you take care of you first, especially in these crazy times. I'm going to see if I can put something on screen here. Now, it's always a challenge. Oh, I'm able to do it. Okay, that's good. I didn't know if I'd be able to do it. Now, the people who watch this on the regular know that Dr. Vibe doesn't like traveling to downtown Toronto that much. Who knows that? Who knows that? I'm not a traveler, especially in the winter with all the craziness. But last night, Dr. Vibe went into downtown Toronto. Now, why did Dr. Vibe go to downtown Toronto last night? Anyone want to speculate or take a guess why I went downtown last night? Anybody? Just out of curiosity? Oh, no answers. Not even Fitness IQ Cam. She must have just dropped. If she was eating something, she probably dropped it to the ground because she knows I don't go to downtown Toronto that often. Okay. She goes, you love downtown. LOL. No, I don't. No, I don't. But I did go downtown. Actually, the drive downtown was not that bad, believe it or not. I went at around 4:30, 5 o'clock, because at that time, most of the traffic for downtown is coming out of downtown, unless there's a basketball game or hockey game, etc. Oh, she goes, which big event? Ah, you got it. For those who watch the Morning Vibe on a regular, do you remember a few months ago we had Station Frederick, who is like 5 months in, the new CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters Toronto? Does anyone remember? And during that conversation, she said they were having an event called the Game Changers. Aha! Well, let me tell you, they had their Game Changers event last night, and I was asked, and I was very humbled to be the host of the event last night. Went downtown. For those people who know Toronto, Spadina and Queen Street. Wow, because Spadina between Queen and Dundas, like heart down, really core downtown. And went down there. Had a really nice place called Snap Incorporated. But let me tell you, my gosh, this event space, just to get in the event space, you had to give your name, your email address, your phone number. You got to sign this release thing. My gosh. I felt, what do you give me? Do I need a passport to get in? What a ritual to get in. And of course, data collection. You know, I know I got an email when I got back in last night thanking me for this, that. So they've got my data, which I was wondering if I would have said, no, I don't want to give you my information. I should have asked them that. Got in there. So here's some tips. So when you are, this is just me, when you're emceeing an event, get there early. Why? Because you want to take a look at the event space, look at the vantage points. One of the things I always do is I go to the furthest seat away from the podium to see what's the vantage point and what's the audio going to be like that far away. Now, when I first got in, I was greeted. They really didn't have an audio person. They had a guy DJing, but I don't know if there was anyone really controlling the audio. But I had a chance to look at all the vantage points, etc. Got comfortable. They gave me what I was supposed to say. Beautiful preparation, and had time to speak with some of the people attending, which was really good. So that got me into the mindset, got some bouncing things with the audience. So get a little bit conversational, etc. And did the thing. It was a lot of fun. People said I did a good job, which was great. Now, the Game Changers event was a number of Black men who either are big brothers or have mentorship in their journey, sharing stories. And there was people like Warren Salmons. If you don't know that name, he was doing something called First Fridays, which is a networking event, the first Friday of every month for the last over 30 years for Black professionals. So he was there. One of the interesting number of interesting people. There was an engineer there. There's a gentleman who's a vice president at TD Bank, Toronto Dominion Bank. A gentleman who was an ex-football player who does stuff with TSN, etc. Yeah, so they had a panel. One of the most fascinating people that I met last night, there's a gentleman who is the CEO of the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. CEO of the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. And I'm actually going to look up to see if I can remember it. I think his name was Mark Williamson. Let me just gonna take a quick symphony. Let me just take a quick look and see if, yes, Mark Williams. So this gentleman, Black gentleman from Ohio, is the CEO of the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. We had a fascinating conversation. And he says he wants to come on the show. And he wants to spread information, especially to our people, about the value of, you know, going to symphony concerts, etc. We had a really good conversation, but he was born in Ohio, and it was really good. He was really good to chat with so many good people. Big shout outs to Station Frederick and her team. That was Station's birthday, believe it or not. And so she was there for a short bit and then left. Her two of the members of her team handled the whole thing wonderfully. Great event, really great event. Now, I know people have saying, where's Ryan Knight? Where's Ryan Knight? Well, believe it or not, one of the people on the panel last night was Ryan Knight. There you go. So there he was. He was one of the Black men that was on the panel sharing last night. And it was cool to see Ryan. He had just actually, for those who follow him, don't follow him on social media, he was actually in Vancouver early this week with if you remember, he received his for-profit company called Detailing Nights. He received an $150,000 cash infusion by a gentleman named Brian Scudamore, who is the founder of 1-800-GOT-JUNK. So Brian has invested $150,000 for 30% of Ryan's company, and it was cool that he was out there. So if you follow Ryan on social media, and I'll put up his contact information in a bit, it was good to see him. We were there for a little bit, and I don't know when I'll see him again. He'll be back on the moment, but he's got a lot of stuff going on. Also, the not-for-profit organization he runs, ACBN, is running a symposium February, March, the end of next month, which I'm going to be a part of. But it was really good event, and they had the bar. I don't drink alcohol, by the way, but the bar I had mimosas, and it was really nice and really good. They had pizza. It's a pizza Loa. I can't remember the name of the company in Brampton, but there was different types of pizza. There was jerk chicken pizza. There was veggie pizza. There was oxtail pizza. Ryan was out of bounds. His oxtail. And now the funny thing is, when he was leaving, he took a box. I said, "You're going to take that?" Says, "If you take that, I'm going to call Carolyn Nicole on you." Now, he said he went back and he took chicken pizza, but I got to check. But we had a really good time. So a lot of people on the comments here with the regulars here. There we go. So Fitness IQ Cam says, nice. Frequency Event Promotion says, good day, Dr. Vibe. Good day, Frequency Event Promotions. Good day. He says, good day to everyone and all. And Minion Cam says, yes, ballet and symphony in Toronto is lovely. I have not been to a symphony concert in a long time. When I have that conversation with Mr. Williams, I'm going to make myself down there. We'll have some fun with that. And Fitness IQ goes, watcha. And she goes, he's dressed in a jacket. Yes, I do have jackets. You know, just like you have your nails, I do have your jackets. By the way, Fitness IQ Cam, did you say you'll have your nails going on? And Minion Cam says, that's the kind of jacket that goes with a wood smoking pipe. Oh, gosh, that's rude. I may just ban you from the program because that. And Fitness IQ Cam goes, KMT. So that means you still have your nails then, Fitness IQ Cam. Aha. And she goes, shush. Love it. But yeah, big shout outs to Big Brothers Big Sisters Toronto. Great event last night. I'd say there were about 50 to 60 people there. Ran into a gentleman from Toronto Children's Aid Society, who is an associate. Have to follow up with an email today, but he says, man, good job from the podium. So that was cool. Ryan Knight does exist, people. There you go. He does exist. I was going to play a little bit of myself from the podium, but no, that's more than enough. But it was good. And again, another hint, if you're doing stuff like that, get someone to document it. Another reason why I got there early, I saw there was a group of there were four ladies, really nice, and they were getting into the music and all that. And I asked one of them, hey, can I ask a favor? And she said, whoa, would you mind just videoing my MC? And she says, hey, no problem. Funny enough, found out a lot about her. She runs a restaurant in Mississauga for the last 4 years that's doing incredibly well. And I've got to get her on the program, but she's actually going to, is it Guyana or Trinidad for 3 weeks starting on Monday or Tuesday. I have to reach out to her by then. And the people there was a person there who asked for my business card. And I said, when are you going to contact me? And she said, I'm going to contact you by tonight. I said, tonight? She goes, yeah, I'm in walking distance. She emailed me before I even got home last night. And I sent her back a video message, and she loved that. So that is good. Also yesterday, I had the opportunity to do a pre-recorded sharing session for a parenting conference that's going to have a reach of 150,000 people. That is amazing. And the person found me out, believe it or not. But it was so I say so too much. So people say Dr. Vibe, you said so again. I need to stop saying that word. It's bothering me. It's bothering me saying that too much. I did that presentation online yesterday and then did the emceeing. So it was a very productive and efficient. It's not the word I'm looking for. Hold on a second. Productive and impactful day yesterday. Or positive, productive, or productive and impactful. So I had a lot of good, see, I said it again. I had a lot of good things going on yesterday through me, not for me, through me. Okay, we are going to go to break. And we have a friend, a monthly friend. We're doing it a little bit early. We're doing it a week early because I will be traveling next week. And we didn't want her not to come on, because I don't know when I'm traveling if I'll have good Wi-Fi access. We'll take a break and come back. So we'll be back in about 30 seconds. Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Vibe here. So let's bring her up. She has been with us for a number of months now. This lady called Mini on Cam.
And that was the thing when I learned about lifting yourself out of poverty. It's actually a specific financial number if you look at all your numbers. And now I see it happening to people in the BIPOC community. I don't need my phone for every moment. Culturally, our family doesn't let us sit down and do nothing.
Okay, so you got an appetizer because Mini on Cam is going to be with us in just a moment. Let's go through some housekeeping. Please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. I believe, actually, let me just check. I was asking for a favor from you all to see if we can hit a new plateau. And I'm going to just check right now if we have hit this plateau. So give me a second. I said it again. Give me a second because I got to check if we've hit this new milestone. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. All right, we are so close to hitting 1,690 subscribers. We are so close. We are close. Let me keep on saying so too much. I want to make sure we can hit it by Monday. Very important. Well, not important. It'd be nice. Share it out. Tell people about it. If you haven't subscribed and you're up to it, please subscribe. Also, follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Please email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I'm a part of. Feel free to email me, dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. And finally, Indie Soup TV. I believe it's definitely launching its next season within the next 2 weeks. It's an independent content creators platform that I'm a part of in regards to providing content. And I am on the advisory board. Almost 23,000 subscribers in 9 months of operation on YouTube. That is powered by our dear friend, Dr. Tachi out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, was on a meeting with our team yesterday, most of our team yesterday, because we share resources, and it was going fine. All right. She is here a week early, and she is here to just really give us the real deal when it comes to the world of disability. So here she is in her orange. Mini on Cam, what's going on?
Well, early voting, go vote.
Yes, in Ontario. Now, question. First of all, how are you? Okay, I asked for 1,690 subscribers. It has just happened. Love it. So it is an election in Ontario. Did you get a voting card?
Yeah.
I didn't get one.
I got a voting card. I got Doug Ford messaging me to go vote for him, and I
Yeah.
sent
Oh,
him
yeah.
back.
Yeah. Hold on a
Let
second.
me
That's what I'm saying.
finish. Let me finish. I sent
No,
him back very mean messages in that message.
like I'm getting text messages from Doug Ford. I'm saying I don't want your text messages. So Doug Ford is the premier of our province. So in the U.S., you have your governors. We have premiers. I'm getting text messages going, I didn't ask for this.
Exactly. This is why I sent back some very mean messages.
I go, what is this man sending me messages for?
I mean, he already gave us $200. I got that, and then I got the text message.
I'm telling you,
And then
yeah. Go
and
on.
the voting card is not the red and white one. It's bright yellow and white.
Well, I looked in my mail, going through my mail. I saw this yellow card, but
Yeah,
I
the
don't.
yellow.
But I saw you have to. Do you have to scan?
No, you bring the card, and on the card, so like the card has your address and your name. Then with it, you bring your ID. So if
I
you
got.
saw a yellow card instead of the red and white one, it's not like, to me it wasn't the normal voting card, but because I have already worked for Elections Ontario the last election, I had a rough idea what it's going to look like. So they may have changed the card, the color of the card, and it confused people and they threw it out, but you still can find your local polling station from the website.
No, that I know where my local polling station is. So if I go in to my local polling station and I have ID, can I
You're
still?
fine. Yes, you're
Okay.
fine. Bring your ID. You can, like, I even have my health card. They just
Okay.
need to know that it matches. And then they also have computers to register people to vote.
Okay. Okay. Now look at this. Fitting your girlfriend or your friend in crime and trouble. I got
Yep.
mine, she says. And she goes, LOL, Dr. Vibe, is this the first time voting? Rude, rude. Do you hang around with people like that? Rude people?
We hang around for 12 hours on Monday.
What?
Yeah.
12 hours?
Yeah, we did our power hour at 11 and we didn't log off until 8 p.m. And then we have plans.
Tell me you're joking.
No, I'm dead serious. I sat right here for 12 hours with her working on business and family dynamics and more business and more. Then she cooked, then she cleaned, then she checked on the dog. We were fine.
So to the audience, whether you're watching live or replay, have you ever been on a conversation, whether in real life or virtual, with someone for 12 hours? What?
I mean, people probably did it in the pandemic when they wanted to be close to
12
families and
hours?
stuff. I mean, depending on how well you're close to these people, yeah, it can work.
You're better than me.
Yes, I am.
I know you are. 12 hours. 12 hours.
Wait, no, not 12. 11 to 8. Wait, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m.
9.
Yeah.
Still. Oh, Fitness IQ goes, it was definitely 6 hours. Well, sorry, you already got stomped on that. It was longer than that. So don't try to cover it up. Okay. Jeez, that's a long time. That's a long time. Wow. Okay. Other than voting, other than spending 9 hours with somebody, what else is going on?
Just content. Like, I'm trying to. I got myself the book. Oh, it's in the living. It's in my room. The YouTube formula book for Daryl Eves' book. So I'm going through that to build more content on my channel. Then Ashay Community Foundation for Black Disabled Canadians. They're doing their event tonight on why diagnosis matters. Then they invited me to speak on their knowledge series for entrepreneurship. I emailed them back saying yes, I'd be happy to do it. Yeah, I mean, it's business as usual, but because there's an election, people are heightened with their emotions. And the more Doug Ford talks about ODSP, he says the most insensitive things that I really need him not to be there because he's causing more harm than good. And then last night, the they had so one of the neighborhoods, they're doing the political debate panel. They had one just on disability issues. So I watched that. Like that's why I voted early. Like I don't need to wait around until next week.
Yeah. I know that there was a Black political forum up at, I believe, at the JCA.
Yeah, and it's
That's
virtual, but the annoying part about the Black ACA community, they're not going to talk about disability issues. They talk about Black issues, which is fine. But I have intersectional identities that need to be taken care of. And if you ignore one over the other one, you're not supporting me. You're against me. Because like for me to go to like 3 different events for 3 different things for 3 different communities, it doesn't help me at all. Same thing with entrepreneurship stuff. If we were like Fitness IQ invite me to this entrepreneurship thing on the weekend, and it's a whole day event, and like a whole day event to remind people that they don't include people with disabilities. Like multiple companies over and over again, to remind them that, hey, you're ignoring us again.
So here's a suggestion. Why don't you reach out to the organizer and say, hey, why do you not have anything for this?
I do, but they always give me some weird speech of why they don't do it. When the whole point of the AODA, the government made a promise that they would make everything accessible by 2025. They failed.
Yeah.
They failed miserably for 20 years. They failed.
Okay.
Where now and then think about it. The last election, anybody that was 15 with a disability, who is now 19 with the disability, can vote. We have more disabled voters than ever before, and you're not helping us.
It's growing. Actually, so your girl, Fitness IQ, says she was multitasking during those 9 hours, and she said she had to finish errands and chores. And she says, I wanted to have a reason to see you in person, ma'am.
I know why. I'm going. I'm just letting you know. I'm going.
When is this event?
It's either tomorrow or Sunday. I know it's soon.
Okay.
I know I have to rearrange my budget to go.
Well, Fitness Cam has such deep pockets. She should pay for you to come.
We'll figure that out, because if you go for brunch, there's a brunch place near the location, and my birthday was last week, so we'll figure it out.
Okay, but happy belated. Are they not serving food at this event?
They might, but it's still like I can't just go eat any food anywhere.
Right.
I have multiple sclerosis. You want me to interrupt my bladder issues? No, thank you.
Okay. Oh, Fitness IQ Cam says I'll send it. And the information, and she says it's free. I'm curious what the event. There's actually another event happening downtown tomorrow. The Black Physicians Association of Ontario is having their annual symposium somewhere on the University of Toronto campus. They've invited me to come by and saying that's fine, no problem. I interviewed some representatives for the event earlier on. So
it's from Black Founders Network and 4 others.
And it's being held downtown?
Yeah. And then when I looked at the list, the Brian Knight's ACBN is there. Like a lot of the organizations, I've seen their names before, but when I go visit their website, they're not inclusive.
Right.
So I have to email all of them individually to say, hey, you're not being inclusive for people with disabilities. When a Shea Community Foundation for Black Disabled Canadians has been around for 6 years.
They should be reaching out to Shea.
They should, but they're not. Same thing. They're not reaching out to Race and Disability Canada or Dean Services. They're not. They're just leaving disabled out of the conversation because they don't want to talk about it, because it makes them uncomfortable when it's part of the human condition.
So Fitness IQ Cam says your favorite word is in the title. I don't remember what favorite word is there.
Community. It says community. It says community.
Yes. And she says, I sent it. Okay. Who did you send it to? Minnie or myself? Probably to Minnie first. Okay. Yeah. There has just been especially in the melanated environment, we're not paying attention to your community.
No, we're not. Not even close.
And I'd like to know what the reason is for that.
It's because of ableism.
Okay. Actually, I was watching a really interesting interview, though we're based in Canada. The push for Republicans in the United States to cut Medicaid is, and this, it was done by Chris Cuomo, who used to be on CNN, who's now on News Nation. He went in on that. If they do the cuts they're proposing to do, the Republicans, to Medicaid,
we have our own cuts. I don't know why we keep quoting American information. We have our own cuts that cause our problems.
Okay, but I was just watching this commentary, and I'm saying this will happen here too. It's going to be a disaster.
It's already happening. Not it will happen. It's already happening.
You know, we've on, and so Fitness IQ Cam has gone Kingston on us. Look on your phone, Dr. Vibe. All right, so she has sent it to my phone. She has sent it to my phone. Yes, the lady with the nails. Did she show the power? I've seen this at the power of community. We are stronger together. We are strong. Yeah,
they say that, but it's not actually true. But okay, whatever.
Innovation, advancing corporate, the Black Elephants. Oh boy. Black
like
Founders, BMZ, EDC, Black North Initiative, Black Thrive, BDC, Founders Fund, African Black Opportunity Fund, Black Tribe Network, ACBN, Federated Black Canadians. So they're all going to be down there. So here's the interesting thing. It looks like, if you are job searching, so this is to go get jobs.
Yeah, and then my article that says disabled people are not getting the support they need to find jobs. The level of stuff, if I go there, they're going to just be so uncomfortable because they're not considering people with disabilities. The amount of stats and reports for 40 years that I know of how they treat people with disabilities, and we're always excluded. Always.
You know, I may want to go to this and get entertained.
I don't have a lot of energy to be wasting in environments that are gonna no, because the thing is, I learned from last Saturday of going out to Vaughan with Wayne's event for his financial service company that he's in. If I'm around too many people, I get overstimulated. I have sensory issues. And then the sensory issues affect my hearing and concentration and then my balance. So if I'm in environments that I have to use more energy than I need and I get nothing out of it, I'm not going to go. But because Fitness IQ Kim is coming downtown and I already know she had issues with the car and she says she's going to go, and the thing is only a 1 streetcar ride away from me to get there, I'll get there. It's not going to take me a lot to get there.
Yeah.
Like I already have a discount fare for having a disability to go get there. I'll get there.
Yeah.
But I already know me getting there, I'm planning a lot to get there. And I'm planning a lot to get there in an environment that doesn't even ask you in the registration, do you need disability accommodations?
There's a big hiccup there. That's a big faux pas right
They'll
there.
assume that the building has disability accommodations for maybe 1 or 2 washrooms. That's not what we need. If you have all the presentations, you have all the slides, are you offering ASL? Are you offering the descriptive presentation so that people with low vision can understand what's going on? Are you going to introduce yourself in the room to say, I'm wearing an orange shirt with black and white vertical stripes and a short hair with black brown skin, and I'm an African Caribbean woman? Like low vision people don't really know what's going on. They just hear your voice. You have to paint the scene, paint the whole picture so they know. Do they need ASL? And then there's different ASL. There's patois ASL. Like the amount of things that a person with a disability needs so that they can function and participate in the conversations, and then we're not having them, and then we're going to act like, oh, we need to work harder. I want to swear. So many words I want to swear. Yes.
I'll be interested to hear from you how non-compliant this event is. So take notes for me, please. I'll be
I hate doing that. That's I hate going into an event and pointing out all the things they don't do to accommodate more people. Like I should, and it should not be my job. I'm not that's not my job to go into an event and then automatically feel where am I excluded, where I'm not wanted, where I'm only tolerated, where I'm not celebrated. Why am I doing that? No, I can do other things. I can spend a whole day on Zoom with Fitness IQ Cam and get way more work done.
Okay. So Fitness IQ says, what did you do to make me laugh? And she goes, I'm going there for a different reason. What reason are you going? And then she says, eek. So what reason are you going to the event, Fitness IQ Cam? Please tell us. So we're going to transition then to what you wanted to chat about today. And you have a session you want to share with us. So let me get that up on screen for everybody. All right. Okay. We have it up on screen. Beautiful. Oh, Fitness IQ Cam says it's tax season coming up. Okay. Are you looking to meet people to get asked to get their taxes done? Okay. All right. So let's go through your presentation. So let's go for it. Start it off.
It's not at the beginning. It's somewhere in the middle. Oh, yeah. So the thing with going on right now, 3 out of 4 political parties want to double ODSP. Then last time your last guest, Wayne, was on and he was making a comment of how doubling it would disincentivize people from working. We're already 40% below the poverty line right now with the rates of ODSP. ODSP is $1,368 a month. The average rent cost is $2,500. We have 81,000 people that are unhoused living in encampments right now. Welfare Ontario Works is $733 a month for a single person, no children. If they are approved, if they apply, if they go through the 3-hour interview before they're approved. It's already a difficult situation. And then people pile on with comments that make it more insensitive, more out of touch. And if anything happens to you that you use up all your resources available, you end up on social assistance. The safety net is there supposed to catch everybody when they need it, depending on if it's a disability or a short-term gap while they're waiting for a job or other benefits to kick in. And the reason I'm always emotional about it, my ex-best friend who used to work at her really, really good paying job at one of the sports centers here ended up on ODSP, where she was like, oh, don't worry about it. Oh, it's not that hard. Oh, it's not that difficult. Now she has to go through the same process I've been going through since 2011. And me and her don't talk now. Because every time we talk now, it's I told you so. And if you were prepared for it, you would have a better strategy. So navigating ODSP is the maze of the Minotaur, which is the other slide I have in there. Because once you're in it, if you don't have a strategy to come off of it, you're stuck in it. And then I learned from my own personal journey of being on it, you're not coming off of it as fast as you would like to because of the health insurance. I learned from applying for my insurance benefits, critical illness, health and dental, all the insurances available that Wayne would sell someone. I don't get all the available options because I already have a pre-existing condition. It's already treated, it's already diagnosed, it's already paid by an insurance company for the prescriptions that costs me what? One of them is $14 a pill for 30 days every month for the rest of my life until my doctor decides, oh, we're going to switch you on a different medication. There's no cure for multiple sclerosis. There's no cure for bipolar disorder. And there's no cure for a lot of the disabilities that we have. We just live with it. If you don't die from your disability, you're living with your disability. And living with your disability is 40 to 50% more income to spend on the expenses that you need to manage your disability. So with navigating ODSP, when a person first gets on it, it's a combination of They may start on the Ontario Works program first, and then from there, they apply for the ODSP application determination package. The determination package for ODSP is not this small little 2-page form. It's 20 pages of stuff, and half of them a doctor has to fill out. And oh yeah, we have a doctor shortage. We're like over 2 million people don't have a family doctor. So this is a system that we have that people poo-poo on, but you need it. And if you don't need it for yourself, you probably need it for a family member or a friend or a neighbor. 1 in 15 people are on social assistance in Ontario alone.
Do you want me to go to the next slide?
Yeah. Can you make the slides bigger? On the slideshow, maybe?
Okay, hold on. Yes, I can. Nah, see, I'm not good with, let me see about this Google Slides thing. Is there any way I can get rid of the sides?
There's a slideshow button on the top right.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
So that slide is just my journey of how I started working minimum wage, then I became disabled, then I ended up on Ontario Works, then I ended up on ODSP, and me being approved for ODSP was the same month I was supposed to be evicted from my apartment. If the sheriff came before I was able to go to court, make a stay motion to stop them from processing my eviction, I wouldn't be here. Like, people don't realize that the way rent increases are happening without rent control are forcing people, when they have a hard time, to not bounce back. Like, we have people living in a tent right now, and the amount of snow we have outside, they're still outside. I'm not the norm. I'm like a small percentage of success in the population of social assistance. Like, we're assuming that everyone has the same starting line. No, we don't. I didn't have it, and I still don't have it. Even if I make more income to come off of social assistance, I'm still tied to the government assistance program because of my health insurance, because of my prescriptions, because of my multiple sclerosis, because of my bipolar disorder, because of addiction issues, because of all those things that I have that I always have to pay attention to. I don't get a moment of not paying attention to that. And I learned that the hard way a decade ago, of letting another extra person in a romantic relationship come tell me that, oh, I don't look disabled. So I started doing things because he made me feel like I can't show my disability, and it caused me more harm. I ended up psychotic and naked in the hallway because of me believing his nonsense. So I'm done with that. Fully done with that. So the process of going full-time employed, you have health benefits, you enroll in your employer benefits, then you become disabled is not the norm. It's not that, like, we're acting like everything is equally when it's never been equal from the jump. And then the way the systems are for health insurance and the underwriter process, the application process, they are looking for reasons to exclude your health condition. And the more they exclude your health condition, the more likely you apply on social assistance government programs. And then you actually are always tied to the government programs depending on what you need, like the assisted device program. So like compression socks, a walker, medical devices and supplies for diabetes, all the things that we think is automatically just available to us, that is not unless you have insurance or you have enough money in savings to cover the cost of it. And depending on what's happening, it's a daily expense that you have. Where Fitness IQ Cam is probably doing a lot more medical expenses for certain people because of their health issues that they have. So this slide I don't need anymore. Right, back to the maze of the Minotaur. So the thing with ODSP is what I was saying, to be eligible was you have to be at least 18 years of age or older, be a resident of Ontario, and your assets cannot be no greater than the limits set out in the program. The assets set out in the program is where a lot of people get tripped up because we don't have proper financial literacy education of asset planning. And ODSP knows the key to your freedom is you having your own income and assets. Like, and they indirectly, directly program people to feel like they cannot have something, so they don't even try. And then with the meeting the program's definition of a person with disabled, it's already decided. Like when I applied for ODSP and they said I'm approved because I have a disability, I already jumped through all the hoops already. So I don't need this extra person telling me that I don't look disabled or it's not that bad or, you know, you work so good, you're doing so good, you're so strong. I don't need them telling me that. Because if I forget to take my medications, I am in the hospital. Are you going to be there waiting for me for 6 to 12 hours or 24 hours in the hospital waiting to see a doctor? Probably not. Like the amount of people that should be there with me when I'm in the hospital, they're not. Mom's at work, dad's at work, grandma doesn't know. Then by the time grandma knows, it's like, oh, okay. Like I'm usually in the hospital by myself, dealing with my disability, dealing with the challenges that come with my disability, dealing with psych evaluations. Last year I had a psych evaluation. There's no psychiatrist to monitor me right now. The only monitoring I have right now is my family doctor, assuming I don't do anything to break the rules where she can de-roster me as a patient. Because that's the thing what's happening there. And you may have a family doctor, but if you somehow go to a walk-in clinic that's not in their approved network of your family doctor, they can say, hey, you've done this and now you're no longer my patient. And then you're left on your own of the 2 million people that don't have a family doctor. You can't just go shop around for a doctor like you can in America because it's private. Here, once you have your doctor, that's it. Once my doctor sets up the referral to my neurologist to monitor my multiple sclerosis, that's it. The only thing that will switch off with doctors like that is if he retires and moves me on to a different doctor that he trusts in his practice, or I have to go back to my family doctor and ask for a new referral. And there's no guarantee that I get a BIPOC doctor in any of my health conditions that I would like. So the representation that we need in our healthcare, not happening. Because why? We're voting for people that make it worse. We're voting for political leaders that make it worse. Because, oh yeah, they're white and privileged and don't have to deal with our challenges. And then person of a disability under the age of 18 with a disability, they have 6 months before they turn 18 to apply for disability benefits. It is the most difficult process in the entire world. And anybody who's not on disability or doesn't have one yet, you're not making it easier for people with your judgments and criticisms and whatever that's going on. And then believing the nonsense that spits out of Doug Ford's mouth. Stop it. Actually have common sense. Oh my gosh. Common sense is so difficult to have it. That part's good. That side's okay.
Okay, so before we go any further, just want to catch up. Dr. Tachi says, good morning, all. Also, Fitness IQ Cam says, would be interesting to see the results of your poll, Dr. Vibe. So for people who are watching live on YouTube, I am running a live poll at the moment, basically asking how many people are living with or know someone who has a disability. That's a poll that's running on YouTube live right now. Fitness IQ Cam says, she goes, especially with the amount of folks watching live. Yes. And Dr. Tachi says, this is eye-opening.
That's good. The point. I mean, I'm taking all of my frustrations, all of my experiences, trying to summarize it in this 13 presentation slides to open people's eyes. Because, like, I don't have the luxury of going back to my life before the disability.
Right.
I have to move on from what it is now and make it work. But I also know that there's people on disability benefits that are in my peer support groups, that are in my meetings and all. They don't even feel like they have a chance because the system has ripped them apart so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're coming and tell us to try harder or work harder, but you're not even there for their medical appointments or reminders of what they need done for prescriptions or like supplies going. You know, many times I freak out that I can't afford toilet paper when I go buy toilet paper. where some people just automatically have it stored up in their house for days on end, like my grandma's basement.
Wow. All right. So before we just do a little reset here, we are hanging out with Minnie on cam. We're talking about navigating the Ontario Disability Support Program, ODSP, and probably where you're living, it may be as challenging. So this is a good foundational piece in regards to that subject. And then Minnie
I
has,
know it's worse in America. The America SSDI program is it's difficult, and with whoever's running the country over there, it's going to be more difficult because you keep voting people who want to make it more difficult for people that are struggling. And the amount of stats that come out from America, and then Canada decides to, when Canada does their own research, they model another country. They don't actually build research based on the needs of the people in their country. And that is causing problem globally. So America has their one model. Canada copies a version of America's, but they change a few things to make it Canadian. Then the UK has their own program for disability benefits. Then New Zealand, then Australia. Like, you can actually look up reports from the UN of how they treat people with disabilities globally, and the UN said Canada is the worst on their list.
wow.
So and remember, Canada's supposed to be the friendly country, but the UN said the way they treat people with disabilities is the worst on the list. So clearly we're not doing something correctly if the UN says we're treating people with disabilities worse. And then the funeral that I went through last year, November, for Isabella, the reason she's no longer here, she applied for medical assistant and dying because of her not able to get enough what she needed from the disability support program to manage her disability.
Got it.
So how are we helping people if we're supposed to be Canada the good? We're not good. We're really good at hiding it. We're not good at all.
Dr. Tachi says, I think the problem is that those who vote are voting in such ways because it doesn't affect them until it does.
Yeah, and then when it does, you cuss out your government that you voted for.
And also want to put up, if you want to get in contact with Minnie, these are different ways. I've also put it in the comment section on all the platforms that I'm broadcasting this on, except my LinkedIn page. But you can screenshot that or go to the comment section on all my platforms and check it out. Another thing too, the poll we're running, do you, on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube page, do you have, or do you know someone that has a disability? 83% have said yes, 17% have said no. If you're watching this live on the Dr. Vibe YouTube page, vote, vote, vote. Appreciate those who have voted so far. Let's move to the next slide. So let's do this.
So that's a screenshot of my welcome package from Ontario Disability Support Program, copies of letters and communication I have with them. It's a growing, annoying document of going through their employment supports, and Doug Ford decided to rename the program over 2019, call it Employment Transformations, and he outsourced it to for-profit employment agencies. But instead of them actually helping job seekers with disabilities find employment that they're actually like willing to do, but also willing to stay in long-term to be sustainable, they're not. They're making it harder. Like, everything that you would think would supposed to make a person thrive and be successful and then be self-sufficient and independent is actually harder in Ontario Disability Support Program, because every month I have to report to them, did I get married? Did I have assets? Did I get gifts from mom, dad, and grandma? Do I still have my disability? Like 2017, they did a medical review wondering if my disability is no longer my disability. Okay, yeah, it is. I may have medication, suppressing symptoms and things like that. But if I go off those medications, my symptoms and progression of my disease and multiple sclerosis comes back. So everything with it, I never actually get away with not reporting to ODSP, because when I discovered it on my live stream, the last time I was live on my own channel, Section 9.17, I have to be making enough income for 2 months in a row then apply for traditional health benefits, and maybe they'll continue covering my prescriptions. So when we worry about why isn't someone coming off of the system, it's because of their health care costs, their prescription costs. And it's not like you're volunteering to pay for their medical expenses. You're not. Like, the level of I have to worry about, not only did I take my medication on time, I also have to worry about, will the government renew my prescription? Like, my multiple sclerosis medication is delivered from the pharmacy to my house, but it's only delivered to the pharmacy when they have a current blood work on file of me. They have a current MRI evaluation of me. They have a current payment from the insurance company from me. If I change my insurance too quickly, or I am no longer eligible, I don't have my prescriptions covered. And then, because I've been on Ontario Disability Program since 2011, that commitment of me signing away my life is there for the rest of my life until I can prove I have more income and assets than what the program allows. Then I have to figure out health insurance and medical expenses. And then I see Dr. Chachi asking me a question of, do I face any backlash because of my advocacy? Right now, no, which is really good. But there are people out there who are scared to talk about this. Like,
Okay.
they're scared to even remotely describe what I'm describing right now.
So Ruby Pantera says love emoji, and she says, I'll be back to watch a replay. I've got a long drive right now. Great video topic. Well, we appreciate that. And we appreciate that you're driving and not trying to watch this live at the same time. Thank you. There are people who do this. You shouldn't be doing that. Focus on the road.
That is the weirdest thing. So, like, I'm talking about disability, and I'm talking how bad the disability program is. Then you're driving with your phone with this. And some places have snow, and every driver who's distracted driver, if they hit you, you end up right here in that place I tell you is the worst thing to be on. This is not a land of milk and honey. It is a land of fire and brimstone. It is awful.
Okay. What's up next? Next slide.
Yeah, the next slide shows pretty much a screenshot of my account when I log into disability benefits. So the payment section is where it'll tell me my next payment coming in from my entitlement. So Ontario Disability Program is $1,368. $582 of that is shelter. The rest of it is basic needs. $582 is shelter. The average rent in Toronto is anywhere from $1,600 to $2,500 from a studio apartment to a one-bedroom apartment. And then when people give me like suggestions, oh, you should sleep in a separate room and keep your work separate. And if you're in a studio apartment or a one-bedroom apartment and you work from home, chances are, depending on your small space that you have, you're doubling up on the space. And then, keep your room cool and certain temperatures to fall asleep. I don't have that luxury to have that. And then communications is where I send messages back and forth to my caseworker. The profile section is like letting me know my address, my mailing address, my ID number for my disability file. And then the reporting. So I have to, actually the reporting's a whole nother slide. Reporting's the next slide. Reporting, I report my income. So with me being self-employed, having self-employment income, I report my gross income and then my expenses. So what happens sometimes is a caseworker doesn't fully understand or process gross income versus net income because there's expenses for running the business. And the expenses for running my business for just me making income for myself, they have a separate approved list of that. So every month before the 7th of, so March 7, I have to report on my income for February 2025. Then the system has this weird way of moving my gross income to net income. And if the gross income is over $1,000, it'll reduce my payment from ODSP by 75%. If they make that horrible mistake, I have to spend hours of my time going into the disability office, getting it corrected. And depending on the caseworker that's on my file or working it, they may tell me they're right more than I'm right. And if I escalate it and everybody in the office agrees that they're right versus me actually being right, probably general accounting practices, I end up falling into their system of moving my gross income as earned income when my gross income is not earned income. And then declaration. So every month I have to report to Ontario Disability Program if I've been in the province or left the province for more than 30 days. They want everybody to be in the system eligible for benefits who are in the province for less than 30 days. If I somehow go away to like Jamaica or some holiday for 6 months, I lose my benefits. Like on day 31, I lose my benefits. And depending on how I lose my benefits, and it's being an overpayment, then I owe the government back the money they gave me in that month. Then employment stuff is anytime I report changes in my employment. So like the time in 2018 when I worked for Elections Ontario, I sent them a record that I got hired for them, and then they updated my file. And then marriage, like expenses and so like my rent, when it increases every single month, I report it to them. But because I'm no longer in the pay direct system anymore, where they would pay my rent directly to my landlord, I could report my expenses to them, but it's not going to affect my file anymore. And part of me stopping the pay direct was to get back more power and autonomy with me reporting my responsibilities to the disability government so that I can actually plan my exit on my terms. And there's one more slide. Yeah, housing expenses was my rent that I no longer have to report anymore because I stopped them taking over my pay direct for my rent and my electricity bill. Then utility expenses. They need to know what it is, regardless of them not paying it anymore. It's how they determine I'm eligible to get the full maximum of $582 for shelter. And my rent is $994.06. Do the math. They're missing a whole half of my rent every single month.
All right. Next slide.
Yeah. So I figured it out with ODSP. It's a triangle. They control your assets, they control your income, they control the benefits. You need all three of those to exit off of ODSP. And you need all three of them in a way that your income increases, your assets increases, and your benefits that your coverage are getting is always stable. If you don't have all three of them, there's not a whole lot of chances of people leaving government assistance. And it's something that nobody considers when they talk to people about, oh, you should leave government assistance, or when Doug Ford says, oh, people are just lazy watching the Flintstones all day. No, I'm not. But thanks for, telling me how lazy I am for not even knowing who I am. And it's the most expensive thing. So like, yes, I could have more income making more. So like the base amount for someone on ODSP is $1,368. If they work full-time hours, if they even get full-time hours and a disability accommodation for the disability and their employment and for being an employer from their employer, they could come off disability based on income. But there's no perfect month that someone's always going to be working full-time because they have a limited ability based on their disability, based on the definition of disability when they applied. People always forget the disability when they're talking about making more money. Then assets part, because we have very limited financial education and financial literacy, people are not really working towards building assets while on ODSP as they should. As because depending on how their disability operates and how they go through employment supports, if they go through employment supports, like if they're not able to sufficiently independently go out there, know what career they want, how to plan it, how to network, how to build an income revenue stream that's consistent and tolerable of able-bodied environments, they're not thriving. Like the level of people thriving in their professional careers and they have promotions and they have connections and they can move up the corporate ladder is not the same for a person on disability benefits. And the more and more I talk to other people on disability benefits, yes, I'm super excited about what I'm able to do, but it's what I'm able to do for myself. What I am able to do for someone, it's not a copycat franchise model that will work for automatically for somebody else, because they have to overcome their mindset, their belief system, their habits, and resilience to keep trying over and over again as many times as they get rejected. But we're also dealing with people's disabilities. So like I sometimes, before my bipolar disorder symptoms was happening, getting treated, I'd be very, very paranoid. Paranoia and you're trying to function like a normal person doesn't actually go together, depending on what the paranoia, delusion, hallucination is. So we're acting like everybody thinks like you in the environment and they don't. So even that, I stop projecting what I do for me onto other people because they have to be able to actually understand it, learn it, and manage their disability at the same time. Sometimes you can only just get up today and hope you have food in your fridge. Or, you're not being evicted, or you have your landlord that actually does repairs in your unit, or if you actually need a mobility advice or a guide dog or any of the services you need in the disability benefits program. Because what they cover in their benefits program is actually a lot. The more I did research on what's covered in the benefits program, that I know because I'm covered on Ontario Disability Program, I'm excluded from the big corporate private health insurance companies. And then with assets, it's because I got myself really educated in financial planning and financial products and financial services that work with the policy directive Ontario Disability Program. So now the problem I'm having is when I speak to financial advisors and financial planners and they're working with people with disabilities, they exclude the possibility that a client they have that has a disability is accessing Ontario Disability Program. The Ontario government already decided the person's financial plan before you even showed up in the picture. And then to discredit the challenges of Ontario Disability Program that it already decided treatment of income, treatment of assets, and you don't go check it to see what it is to work around that already decided financial decision, you're not helping people with disabilities plan their future better with their asset planning or their income planning or their health benefit planning. Okay.
Right.
Is there questions from you?
No, I from me, obviously it's a system not set up for success for the participants. And just the fact that it's been the same way for so long,
Yeah,
and
in 1996.
there's been no change in the approach, even though I'm sure the politicians have always been asking for input, but there's been no change.
There's been
So
small changes. So the small change, actually, no, there's a couple of major small changes that they did. So like the income cap threshold before, when I got approved with ODSP in 2011, if I made any amount of money, they would cut my benefits by 50% on the dollar. Then they changed it where they had a threshold exemption cap of $200. Then anything above $200 will be deducted by 50%. Then 2023, which is only 2 years ago, they changed it that I can earn $1,000, still keep my benefits. So basically, if I earn $999, I still keep my benefits. I try not to earn exactly $1,000 because it becomes tricky. Because if I earn $1,000 and 1 penny, the 1 penny reduces my disability benefit by 75%. Then my asset limit, they separated asset limits in Ontario Disability Program that are different from Ontario Works. So asset limits, they separate it where there's non-exempt assets, partial exempt assets, fully exempt assets, and I have to remember all of them when I go communicate to my caseworker, because a caseworker could do the wrong thing because they don't remember the rule. And then when I talk to my financial planner and we plan things based on my assets, I need them to read the policy. So when they give me a suggestion, it's not affecting me, because I learned that financial professionals that give people advice around ODSP benefits, they assume it will go well and they take no responsibility when it goes wrong. None whatsoever. So I know they made changes because the changes they made are making my life better, but they may not make someone else's life better because they never had the skill to develop it. So even though we have these changes, someone has to try the changes. A lot of people on disability benefits I've talked to, they believe the old rules that stop them from making money, stop them from getting married, stop them from having a job, because most of them are dependent on the system to help them, like employment supports. Employment supports for me didn't have anything supporting me to be an entrepreneur to run my small business. The same business I started in 2003, then I go into the disability system and they act like I'm incompetent to run my business that I've been running before my diagnosis. Long before they showed up in my life, I was running my business. The only thing that happened, I became psychotic and ended up in the psych ward. I had to get evaluated and be on a 72-hour hold. If those things didn't happen, we would not be having this conversation with a caseworker. So they change things, but they don't change things in a way that highlights my skills, highlights my knowledge, highlights my ability. They lump everybody in the same category, and then it's a barrel of crabs in a bucket. And then every time I go into the disability office, it smells like the most horrible thing in the entire world, and I hope I never have to go back. And the only way to not go back is to make more money and not go back. But I can't just go out there and go, let's go make 40 hours, $40,000 a year or $50,000 a year instantly, because it's not going to happen. I'm out of the marketplace. I am not employable. I am undesirable to most employers unless they instantly want to pay me what I'm worth. And right now I'm having the challenge of contracts I'm getting with corporate clients. They don't want to pay me what I'm worth. It's very frustrating. So why am I to go out there in the job environment to not get paid what I'm worth when I have all this knowledge and skills?
So I want to interrupt there. And first of all, that is not fair. That's a joke. Want to ask a few conversation points with you. First of all, how much would things improve if, I'm looking for a word here, if the payments that are received from those people who are in your community are indexed to inflation?
All right. So Doug Ford indexed ODSP with inflation. When 2018, it was $1,169 a month. Now it's $1,368 a month. It goes up every July. So when you index to inflation, when it's already below the poverty line, you're not doing anything. The $60 increase I get is basically money my grandma would give me for my birthday.
Then,
and it's only ODSP that's indexed to inflation, not Ontario Works. Ontario Works is still $733 a month. It was $500 and something in 2004. Then it increased a little bit when the Liberal government took over. Then Doug Ford stopped it when he came in power in 2018. Like, because of Doug Ford's whatever decision making, it stopped both programs from increasing with inflation that it should match with the cost of living. It's not.
So FitNet IQ says, and I said that word again, know your worth. That is what she says. What would be the minimum amount, in your opinion, someone with your challenges should be receiving from the government?
It's now $4,000 a month. Because like where I live, okay, great. I still live here. My landlord is not trying to be greedy and sell off the building to a developer and move me out. I have to qualify for another unit somewhere else, which means my credit has to be in good standing. I have to have first and last month's rent. Like, I have to be a super desirable tenant to move. You know how much work that takes to do? It's not like, oh, okay, your building bought you out. Like, because some people in my building, the building was offering them to move and they were paying them to move about $5,000, but they had the job with the income to move. Like, if I go apply for another unit, they'll want to check my credit. It's bad right now. Then they'll want to check my bank statements. They're really, really low. So they're not going to think I have any money coming in. And then like, I have to move in a way that I still keep my apartment if the next place doesn't turn out well. A lot of people don't have that luxury. because we don't have affordable housing, and affordable housing definition and dollar amount has changed. This is why I know, like, some people were saying $2,000. I go, $2,000 doesn't do anything to move because I have medical expenses. Like me going out the other day, I hurt my wrist pulling my shopping cart home because it didn't plow the snow. Then my mom was like, how come you didn't order groceries from delivery? With what money? It's more money to order groceries delivered. Yes, they bring all my groceries to me, most of the items I get that I order, but I have to pay the delivery fee. Then I pay taxes. Then there's an extra service fee. Then I get my grocery items versus having $100, walk into the grocery store, pick and choose what I want. Everything I pick from my grocery cart has to come home with me because I walk with my groceries. I don't have a car. So I'm getting groceries anywhere in the city. It has to fit in my granny's shopping cart. Then I have to pull it on the subway with me. Then I have to bring it with me. And it's not like people are lining up to help me. The only reason I had help with my groceries because this young 20-year-old saw me struggling. Literally, like, to the point where now senior people in the grocery store know I have a disability because I walk with a limp. But I like a healthy, regular able body, not so much.
So just to say that word again, just to update our poll on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel, do you or do you know somebody who has a disability? 86% say yes, 14% say no. Fitness IQ Cam says, don't get me started with Instacart or Uber Eats. And she says, look like she had a body in her bag.
I sent her the picture of my cart when I brought it home and I hurt my wrist. Here, the bruise is still here.
I see it. Wow. So again, you are saying that $4,000 a month would be a good starting point for you.
Yeah. Like I'm in market rent, and I'm market rent in a building that's rent control. I'm like for 17 years. But my building could say, oh, we're doing a reno eviction on my unit. And that I have to fight them back to prove that it's not true. You know, every time a tenant has to send a request to the landlord and tenant board costs us money. Because when I was fighting to keep my apartment, when I got approved for ODSP the same time the sheriff was to come evict me out of my apartment, I had to pay $125 to have the court see my case. And luckily there was enough timing in the court system to do it. People don't have that now. The courts are all backed up from the pandemic and everybody not paying rent from the pandemic.
Isn't that interesting that we're in 2025 and the courts are still backed up from the pandemic?
So it's true. Like how I wasn't paying rent because I was psychotic. I tried to go to court for mediation. I was making some payments, so it kept the contract going. And then I went back and because depending on what medication I was on, if it wasn't the right medication, like SSRIs don't work for me because of the type of bipolar brain chemistry that I have. I'm on an antipsychotic, but it took me 2004, 2010, 6 years to get on a right working medication. But every time they gave me a wrong medication that did not work, it set me back. It set me back of being in the hospital because, oh, I may harm myself. It set me back in the hospital waiting for my family doctor to refer me to a psychiatrist, or refer me to a psychologist, or refer me to a social worker that does counseling. Every time I needed those support services to keep me stable, it's a longer waiting list. Now there's nobody there to catch me on the other end. I literally have to go into my family doctor's office, sit in her office all day, and she sees me as the last patient of the day. And then she added it now in her office that I can call in early and be an early morning appointment. But that's my family doctor does. Most other doctors don't have that for their patients or their clinics or how they practice. And I also know my family doctor has a private clinic of $3,000 a year. I thought about taking out a loan to pay for that membership to go into that practice to always keep my family doctor. Like I literally considered $4,000 a year. Okay, fine. Maybe I can get mom, dad, and grandma to pitch in. And I always have my family doctor because she's really good at what she does. Like the decisions I have to make because the system is broken is ridiculous.
I want to ask, you are very proactive in your journey. How do you feel for those who are not proactive?
I'm scared. I'm scared, fully scared. And it's because some of the things that I advocate for myself when I go to my family doctor, she needs the same thing for other patients. Like I now gave my doctor the blank forms we would fill out for ODSP that we need to get access to, and the doctor has to sign off it. So like there's special diet, that form, then the medical necessities form for like my CPAP machine got applied through that form. My air conditioner got applied through that form. I gave my doctor's office blank copies of it. And I figured out, so like my compression socks, the billing goes through an approved vendor of ODSP where they log into their own portal of ODSP to send in my request for medical devices. Took me a long time to figure it out. I can't just go to any old medical supply store and get the things that I need. It has to go through the system, has to be approved, has to be applied. Like me renewing my supplies for my CPAP machine in April, it has to go through the government system. It's not, even though like I found an insurance that would cover it, it's not active right now. I have to make sure that plan is always after paying $113 a month to keep it going. So like when people like Wayne sell insurance, yeah, great, but it's not going to cover everybody. It's not like it's the way the system is, insurance is not covering everybody. So anything that's not covered from a private plan, I'm hoping it covers from the government plan. Because I'm getting the private plan to cover physiotherapy, chiropractor, psychotherapy, so I can hire a private psychotherapist. It's way easier for me to get a private psychotherapist versus a government-funded psychotherapist. And with everyone that's unhoused right now, you know how many psychological issues they're going through right now, survival in winter and conditions and not having proper hygiene and all those things going on. It messes with your psychology. And to come back from that takes a lot of support system. Yes, it takes a lot of support system and your own willpower to do it. But if you don't even believe that someone gives a crap about you, you're not going to do it. So yeah, I'm scared for, they don't think like me. They don't fight like I do. And I've been through some horrible stuff. And part of the only, like, yes, I believe in a higher power. My mom says she'll be there when she can. I kind of back my dad in the corner to help me. Like, but they don't have that. Some of them don't, their family members don't even care what happens to them. Because they're believing a false message of people that think we're leeching off the government system. No, we're not. It's never been an equal playing field. From the day they made minimum wage $8.75 an hour and rent was still like almost $2,000, nobody's surviving on that. And we already know that BIPOC, racialized, marginalized people never get the same equal pay in the job. Because you just had that person talk about all the disparities in the workplace. Like we have so many systemic barriers on top of barriers compounding over and over again. And you're going to tell us, oh, pull up my bootstraps. My bootstraps are broken and there's nothing to pull. And the heel is falling off. Now what?
So Fitness IQ Camp says system is broken. And then says Minnie is a rare gem.
Yeah, I'm a unicorn badass. I already know that. Yes.
Good stuff. As we start winding it down here, I'm going to ask you this. If you had an opportunity to spend 15 minutes with Doug Ford, what would you tell him?
Nothing nice. Same thing with Kamala Kern when you asked me that question.
Okay. Then what does government need to do? What's the first step you feel government needs to do when it comes to this?
We can't keep voting people that harm more people. We have 81,000 people in Ontario that are unhoused. And like unhoused, survival, no proper hygiene, like to rebuild them, their psychology so that they're able to think hopeful about their future. We need to change everything about the system. We need housing. We need healthcare. We need financial resources. Everything they would ask me at CAMH, the Center for Addiction and Mental Health, of the basic needs and Maslow hierarchy of needs, we need to make sure that's always there, not questioning why it's there, not questioning we need to cut that part of the budget. It has to always be there without question. And the only thing that comes close to that is universal basic income, but they try to put it in the federal government and they stopped it from happening. Because the federal government is run by able-bodied people that automatically have a salary, and automatically have housing allowance, and automatically have benefits, and go to their cottage and all those things. We don't have that. There's no cottage I can go to for vacation. Like, we need to make sure the basic needs we already know that we need from psychologists, psychiatrists, marketing experts is always there and never cut out of anybody's budget.
Right. Fitness IQ Camp says she'll be on CP24, Cable Plus News 24, getting locked up, and she goes, kidding. And then the Wallamala, never seen you before, but welcome to the family. Asks, do you believe Crombie will increase ODSP, or is she just marketing?
That's a liberal person, right? We played that circus before. Because every time we go flip-flop between conservatives and liberal, they don't do a whole lot. We need a whole different party running. And the thing is, we need a whole different party running multiple times because of the damage that Doug Ford has done twice. And oh yeah, this damage his brother has done. So we basically, almost like when Mayor Hazel McCallion was running her entire life until she turned 85. We need another person like that running the province. We need someone who can run and be voted in time after time again and always keeps the province thriving.
What does the disability community need to do?
We're already doing it. We write to our MPs. We advocate for ourselves. We have family members advocating for us. We have family members scared for our children's future because we don't have the benefits and supports that we need. Like people with intellectual disabilities. Like my cousin. My cousin has an intellectual disability where when my aunt passes away, a home is supposed to come pick him up and take care of him. We hope he lives out his life well. That is the trust you have in other people. Then my uncle, he is hard of hearing. Most of everything from my uncle he got into government housing, but the government housing waiting list is 10 to 40 years. I'm 40 years old. You're telling me if I reapply for government housing and if I'm not in a domestic violent situation that I may get housing in 40 years. Because when I was in a domestic situation, I applied for the housing list. I applied for all the government housing lists that there were. And the day they said they found me a unit, I got into this apartment.
Let me just interrupt there. Then would you say that housing is top priority?
It's one of them. Remember, like our basic needs for survival are multiple. It's our psychology, it's our thought pattern, it's our behavior, it's do we have food that we need to eat? And then with me having multiple sclerosis, certain foods are inflammatory, which means makes my symptoms worse. So I can't just have any food given to me from the food bank. It'll make my disability worse. We already know people that are accessing food bank are getting scurvy because they're not getting enough vitamins and minerals in their diet from the food they're accessing from the food bank. So we need to make sure that people have the choice of getting the food that they want from a grocery store that's usually more fresher than a food bank so that they can actually follow the doctor recommendations of diet and exercise and all the things that they already run in our blood work. Every time I go to the doctor's office and they run my blood work and something's deficient or low, we're trying to figure out what part of my ODSP benefit plan will cover it. And if it doesn't cover it, I'm maxing out credit cards to cover the thing that they prescribe for me. Like it's multiple. It's like we have to worry about everything it needs to make a person stable. The psychological, like it's not just housing. Because when a person has housing, there's no food in their fridge, then what? If the person has housing and their bed is filled with bed bugs, then what? And oh yeah, they don't have clothes. They don't have soap. You know how many times I meet a person with a disability on ODSP who does not bathe because they don't have soap? How are they supposed to get a job? Oh yeah, and most of them don't have their teeth.
Mm,
So if they don't have their teeth, they don't have good clothes, they don't have like a good appearance, how are they supposed to get employed?
gotcha. Gotcha. Ha. Well, I think we'll stop there. What's your next step?
Well, we did half of the slides.
That's
Which is
right.
good.
We got part 2 coming up.
Actually, no, we did all of them. We
We
talked
did all
about
we did all the
we did.
slides.
It just it wasn't a visual of the mindset, well-being, and dimensions, but I talked about it a lot because I had a slide about the physical health, mental health, meaning and purpose, evaluating well-being, and then emotional well-being.
You,
Those the
you know, I, I,
pillars of
I
things.
yeah, I think we save that for part 2.
No,
That's a
like I talked about it, but
okay.
people didn't have a visual what I was talking about.
Okay,
So
well, we can share that with them. Hold on. That can be done. Hold on. There we go.
it's the one after it.
Okay.
Yeah, that one. Where it covers everything we just talked about that needed for someone. So like environmental, intellectual, spiritual, occupational, social, financial, emotional, and physical. The dimensions of a well-being for well-being. Then there's another image with another circle pie chart of 6 pillars of well-being of career, physical, family, environmental, financial, and mental. And then the last one was physical health, mental health, meaning and purpose, evaluating well-being, emotional well-being. That every time a government makes a decision that affects someone's well-being, they lose hope. Like they lose hope to the point where I remember why I was suicidal in the hospital being evaluated. It's also why last year I thought I want to end my life. It pops up every couple of years. I know it does. But for some people, they actually plan it out with medical assisted in dying because they already have a disability. They already fit the criteria. Then it takes about 90 days to 2 years, depending on what their disability is, to actually end it. And because they're on Ontario Disability Support Program already, they already cover funeral costs. It's built into the program of Ontario Disability Support Program.
Wow. Okay.
And it's like it's real because I saw it happen in November. Like I literally saw it happen with a person who's an advocate in the industry of disability communities and disability rights since the minute she got diagnosed with her disability in the 90s. It's not like she died naturally because of her disability. She died because of the systemic barriers that pushed her to it. And then with everything that Doug Ford makes for a decision of cutting disability benefits or cutting programs to support a person that they needed, cutting healthcare, cutting housing, cutting programs for people with autism and intellectual disabilities and all those things. Like moms with child with special needs that has a disability, that needs all the support system in the education system, they also need it when they're adults. If they don't have it when they're children, what are you telling the child about their belief system of who they are? That they don't matter. So when you tell someone in the system that they don't matter, they go up to believe it unless they have enough willpower to not believe it. Most people don't have that willpower to not believe it. For me, it took years of therapy, going to my family doctor, going to different programs over and over again, pushing through to the waiting list until I got to that program. And then go through the next program and go through a next program and try something different and learn a different skill and travel and meet different people. A lot of people don't have those resources to do it. Like, yes, I had mom and dad helping me. Like when I wanted to go to a business event and travel to the United States for business events, they helped, they paid. I'm really glad they did because they gave me the skills and knowledge and experience and belief system to do it. Like when I met Tony Robbins last year, I maxed out my credit card to go meet Tony Robbins and he gave me the encouragement and support that I needed to move on and achieve my goals. A lot of people don't have that. I saw it happen this year. A gentleman was talking to Tony Robbins on stage. He wants to lose weight because of belief system in his state. He couldn't even pitch in $250 to go buy his ticket to do the next event for Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within. And Tony Robbins has a wonderful decades of track record of transforming people's lives globally. Not like, oh, just only in the United States. He does it globally of transforming people's lives. And you know how many times I want like a foundation or a nonprofit to hire a motivational speaker or a program like Tony Robbins to help the people in the program, but they can't because they're donors and the funders won't actually do it. So I know what works for me, and I'm suggesting it to nonprofits of this program work for me. Can you hire that person in that program? Their funders and donors and investors don't even tell them or give them the allowance in the budget to do it, because their funders and donors actually tell them how to spend the money. And I really believe the nonprofit charities and organizations are keeping the poverty status growing, because they are not changing their belief system. They're not changing their state of mind. And then they're keeping people scared and poor because of their advice. And I reject all of it. And then they get mad at me. But me rejecting all of their advice is why I was able to meet Tony Robbins and go to events and things like that. Where now I'm saving up to go to the brand new Bouchard's Growth Day event.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not the norm. I'm not. But I definitely remember what it was like to be struggling and surviving on disability benefits. I would get my $1,069, pay my rent, have 1 week of groceries, sit down and watch TV and completely cry every single day. Cry every single day. Because I was told a lie. I was told Ontario Disability Program will take care of my basic needs so that I can be stable and move on and rebuild my life. That was a lie. And they told me that because they didn't want me to be suicidal.
All right. That is it for today. I think we got lots to think about in regards to this.
Like with the voting that's happening right now. Yeah, you could go vote Liberal and do a Bonnie Crosby, but then everybody in the disability community will be pushing on her to double ODSP as fast as she said she would. Just because she said it doesn't mean it's going to happen. But we do know that the Green Party and NDP Party, they always said they will raise ODSP. And I also know it's not going to equally just raise it and everything is fine. They have to make sure everything in the program, everything in the policy of Ontario Disability Program balances from income, asset, and benefits. And then the way the policy is written, a section of the policy would change, and they'll never tell me it changed unless I go read the policy directive myself on my YouTube channel. Because you'll see me read the policy on my YouTube channel, and something that was there before is not there anymore. It's not my caseworker calling me to say, hey, we changed this in the policy. Are you aware of it? Because they're not helping me build a plan to come off of it. They only go in to review if I'm eligible and determine how I'm eligible, and then determine if I owe them an overpayment. So we literally have a system with caseworkers that should be the advocate of the clients that they're working with, but they're not. Like, I'm better off to get someone helping me customize my life plan with hiring a coach than a caseworker at the disability government office. A coach that I hire and pay $3,000, $5,000 for coaching cares more about the outcome of my life than a caseworker at the government office.
Gotcha. Minnie, we're going to stop it right there. We got more. You've given us some of your journey, a lot of your journey, and the challenges, but also some opportunities and suggestions to, as I like to say now at the end of my conversation, make it better.
Yeah, you know better. I don't have a time. Every month I come on here and I tell you something that you should know better so you can do better. And if you know what I told you and you go to the government websites, you read the reports I share, and you do nothing, you are the problem. I no longer trust you.
All right. If you want to get a hold of Minnie, on the screen, there's links, YouTube. Also, she makes her notes available. And again, if you're watching this on any of the platforms, any of the Dr. Vibe Show platforms, except LinkedIn, all this contact information is there. Ms. Minnie, I hope you have a good day tomorrow. I am very curious to see how tomorrow goes. I'm almost thinking about going to this event, but if I go, it'd be to hang out with both of you, and I think we'd have quite an entertaining day providing. It's not going to happen. If I was with you,
just bring your recording to make a podcast episode. Then
no, if I come, I want to do IG lives down there with all you and I, just providing commentary. I think that would be quite intriguing and very entertaining and very educational and empowering.
I just know so if there's a networking event and I'm networking with people, I just know how the conversation goes, because when they ask, oh, what do you do? Okay, great. I do disability advocacy, financial plan for people with disabilities. Then I have to educate them of not people with disabilities. Some people thought they're missing a limb, only people with physical disabilities, when there's 5 types of disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have to educate them of all the different types of disabilities that a person may have. It's just a lot of education.
Stop. Write that down. This is a future episode. The 5 types of disabilities.
We talked about it.
Okay.
Disability Pride Month. We already talked about it.
Okay. My apologies. We did, but that's a good thing. But again, I am very looking forward to hearing what goes on tomorrow. Fitness IQ says, I only had to say, I don't know what that is. That grapes once, LOL. Yeah, okay, that's between you two, so I'm not going to even go there. Okay, Dr. Tati says, great show. And Fitness IQ says, see how him mix up. What do you mean I mix up? You say these things and you got to put, and the Wallamala says, what event is tomorrow? Downtown Toronto. What event is there tomorrow? Let me just see. It's an event called The Power of Community. We are stronger together. It's happening tomorrow, Saturday, February 22nd, 2025, 108 College Street. I'll read it quickly about the event. Thank you for your interest. Our 2025 theme is We Are Stronger Together. We'll showcase unified power of Black entrepreneurship ecosystem in Canada. It's bringing together top Black founders, investors, and corporate partners advancing the Black innovation across the country. Join us to witness how, quote, we are stronger together, unquote, moves from words to action with channeling the EDI initiatives across the world, and it's certainly being caused by the political climate. Many of us are working collaboratively to ensure the future of long-term sustainability of what we have built for those we serve. Attendees can expect to access tangible opportunities, tailored funding, and jobs, along with practical guidance through interactive engagements tied to these topics: scaling growth stage, Black-led business, building the next wave of Black innovation, advancing corporate leadership, the Black Excellence Blueprint. Now, when people talk about EDI or DEI, oh, okay, Wallamala says yes, registered. Enjoy. But lots of people talking about DEI and all this, which a lot of people regard as diversity, equity, and inclusion. My DEI is development, entrepreneurship, and investment. That's my DEI. Development, entrepreneurship, and investment. The DEI, the diversity, it's nice, but again, that's relying on other people to provide for us. We have to develop ourselves. Okay. And Fitness IQ kills. Oh, she liked that DEI. Well, thank you for giving me a compliment once in a while. Fitness IQ says an economic lockdown on February 28th. Yes, on February 28th, there's a number of organizations that are saying Black America do not spend any money on companies that do not support DEI that day. But again, I like the DEI that I've been told about better: development, entrepreneurship, investment. That's developing on our own. The Wallamala likes that DEI. Good. And she goes, I thought I meant intern, LOI. I don't know what you, no, not, no, the I is investment, not intern, Thank you. Shirley Josma goes, that's deep, Dr. Vibe. Well, once in a while I come up with, I get these things and I want to share with you because just to show you that I'm in the game. Final results of the poll. Do you know someone who has a disability? 88% said yes, 12% said no. So I did again. This conversation is of relevance to you and others. All right, Minnie, thank you so much. We will chat. Thank you for making space to come a week earlier than usual. We'll be back to your regular spot next month. And don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. I know you've got anger inside of you, but I know your heart is good. There's
It's
a
not.
smile.
It's
No,
not.
hey, it's nothing wrong to be angry. You have a
No,
lot to
like,
be
yeah,
about.
but it's directed. I know what it, because to be in the system that I'm told I'm born Canadian and I have access to all this opportunity and I can see all the non-available opportunity. Like, I'm born here. I can't go to another country because my disability would drain all the resources in their healthcare system. I don't have that luxury of moving somewhere else. This is it. I don't have the luxury to move into another province. If I move to another province and try to go on their disability program, they don't make it easy. Because remember, you need a family doctor to fill all the forms. Then across the country is a doctor shortage. So this is it. I stay here and I build what I have here. And then me traveling is different. If I'm traveling when my disability is stable, it's different. It's building my entrepreneurship venture. But I also know that no matter how much I have all this inspiration and drive and all the things to do, I work in environments of people with able body who never have a disability or think they don't have one. And the ones that have one and don't think they have one, they're making it worse for themselves. So like just that of like, the poll proved my point. More people know a person with a disability, but what are you doing to support them? Are they getting treatment? Are they getting the diagnosis that they need? Are you not telling them, oh, you can heal it with church? I hate when people do that. And it's always in the Black community that does it. Like the amount of sports and services that we need. Are you writing your MPP? Are you doing the advocacy groups? If you're a caregiver, are you doing the caregiver support groups? Like all those things that we need more people accessing it so we know exactly what part of those parts are broken. If they don't know what's broken, they're not going to put money into fixing them. Because the politicians that made these programs and cut these programs, they think they're fine. And if you don't say anything, they won't change anything.
There you go. That's what we had. If you don't say anything, they ain't going to change anything. Finance IQ says this is eye-opening that 88% know someone that has a disability, and we need to be more mindful. All right. As always, Minnie, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. If you're not making money, make history, but we want you to make both. And finally, make it better. Cheers. All right, family, that is it. Minnie went all in today, and I'm telling you, that was a great conversation. As we close it down, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Thank you for getting me to 1680 when I just asked. Like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe@dr.vibeshow.com to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I'm a part of. Email me dr.vibe@dr.vibeshow.com. If you want to get a hold of Ryan is at Ryan O'Neill Knight, and that's Knight with Knight. Also, LinkedIn, Ryan O'Neill Knight, had a pause there. And also Instagram at ryan.knight99. Again, Knight with an KN, not an N. And also email address, work with me at ryanO'neillKnight.com. For myself, website, the drvibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. And then you have Instagram at the drvibeshow. Also X, drvibeshow, email address dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com, and on Blue Sky at drvibeshow. No, I don't. Sorry. Blue Sky at drvibe.bsky.social. And you can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Also, the Afro-Caribbean Business Network on Facebook. And finally, Ryan O'Neill Knight on YouTube. And we have one last comment here. Oh, the Walamala subscribe. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for subscribing. Let's close it out here. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger, block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. As always, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And again, if you're not making money, make history, but try to make both and make it better. We will see you on the digital highway. God bless. Peace be well. Keep the faith and walk good. Peace.
This whole thing of using your business with plant-based products, don't you think your life should reflect that too?
Juke him, Carolyn. Juke him. The family loves us here because they're saying Fitness IQ Can says put a wig on to get in.
Oh God! Oh my God!
Like the ideas are just coming fast and furious here this morning. What? Okay, look at this. Global Women Ambassador. Good morning. Look forward. Okay.